Hello, here we are. So first, the usual question, can you hear us? Please say if you can hear us.
I thought you were going to read it off the screen for a minute. I was like...
No, it's always got to start with that question. Yep, they say they can hear us. Wait.
What? Did they? Oh, there you go. We can hear you. Sorted.
So, hello, welcome to the Old School Q&A. Glad to be here again. And, because this is one of the nicest sofas in the building, you know. I see a lot of you have been talking about the GE while we were waiting for us to come on. So, about that, we've talked about having a solution to the trading problem, because we know there's a lot of you who are a bit fed up with standing in World 1, spamming in Vrock, and trying to find people spamming the right things for you. We'd like to give you something to help with that. It doesn't have to be the GE, though, because I'm seeing a lot of people saying you don't want the GE. Well, that's fair enough. It was a very big change to RuneScape in 2007, and I can understand if it's not something you want again. However, maybe we could give you something that would help you find people to trade with. Maybe so you still had to go up to them in-game and do the trade manually, but it wouldn't involve so much standing in a busy place shouting for each other. If we could design something like that for you, perhaps that would help with the problem without being all the things you didn't like about the GE before. So if you've got concrete ideas about that, maybe as a kind of player-owned shop, using construction perhaps, that's been an idea before. Let us know what you've got in mind, and we'll be trying to sit down with our game engine friends to see what can be implemented that matches the requests you've got. Okay, so now I'm seeing a lot of people asking about raggers.
You're going to be bitterly disappointed. There's no point spamming that.
I can talk to them later.
Okay.
Matt's going to jump in on that one later.
Yeah, we'll leave that one for when Matt's in. Okay, what else you got? More. We want GE. Oh, we want cosmetic items such as duelist hats, wild stalker, and halos. Do you feel like drawing any of those?
I quite like the Wild Stalker hat particularly was an idea. I think there were myself and somebody else. I think it was one of the Ninja team that did a Q&A the other day. Talked about as a reward for having a very good KD in Old School as part of the thing that we polled recently. Wouldn't be a bad idea. Halos I think come up quite a lot anyway, because obviously Castle Wars is quite a popular reward. Apart from that, we don't have particle effects, and I'd really like to get a particle effect on something like that if we had one. So yeah, we could do something in future with it. I wouldn't mind trying to have a model.
I see RuneScape 123 was asking about gnome copters. That's a very odd thing to ask for. Like, really odd.
I don't remember them being particularly important in the game. In fact, I don't remember them being useful at all.
They weren't. They were advert for members features for free-to-play, which we haven't got.
Didn't one of the graphics guys come over yesterday and talk about gnome copters?
Yes, because apparently RS3's thinking about them again, but that's their problem.
Okay.
I think the answer is no, we're not likely to be giving you gnome copters. There was quite a lot of graphical difficulties about that, of course. The way the game does render order, things that are built onto your back tend to render underneath things on your head, and a gnome copter that was partly on your back, partly above your head and partly under you was a problem for the graphics team. I'm not sure we can ever go there again, so perhaps no to the gnome copters. One request to talk about the new Trident. I saw somebody before we started asking if it was like Polypore for 07. I think we could say yes, it really is like Polypore for 07. The thing about the Polypore staff is that when we released that in, 2010 I think it was, maybe 2011, it was a bit overpowered in PvP, and it also meant you could switch from, whatever other style you had, to auto-casting magic with just one click, which is quite a big change. So for the moment, we've given you a form of the weapon that's got all the utility for PvN, but doesn't affect PvP yet. And I think it's going to be the next poll where we ask you if you'd like it to be opened up for PvP use. Now, we don't have to do it in all PvP. We could do it just in PvP minigames like Castle Wars. I could see it being popular in Castle Wars as a cheap spell that lets you use magic without having to spend a lot on runes, but without going overpowered like free runes would do for barraging. Or we could enable it in all PvP, Wilderness, PvP Worlds, Dual Arena, if that's something you'd prefer. I could see us doing it via separate poll questions, so that you've got the option of voting for one without getting the other. In the meantime, a bit about the staff. Let's see, The amount it hits goes up with your magic level. If you boost your magic level over 99 with a potion, then you can get it to hit a bit harder than it otherwise would. And if you get your magic level debuffed by something like the Seer Cull special attack, I believe, then your max hit with the staff will go down. It will never go all the way to 0, and if you find some way of boosting your magic stat to 200 or something insane like that, which would be a bug, I think, then the staff will understand not to go over 30 for its max hit. So that's your trident. I hope you like it, and we're open to feedback about what you'd like us to do with it in the future.
Spark My Life actually just said hotspots and target system would be a good incentive for PvPers. Those are two things I'm holding back on for a later suggestion or a later update that we're working on. So they're not off the list. I understand they're very important. I'm a huge fan of things like hotspots. So we're going to keep those for something later on. More details of that will come as we get there, really.
I've seen a few comments asking about NMZ and XP rates. When Matt comes over later, he'll explain in more detail what we're planning to do and how you'll all be involved.
Yes.
Someone says add 500 more bank spaces. 500.
I wouldn't complain, actually.
No, I wouldn't complain either. We're just giving you 24. I don't think you need... Do you need more now already? Especially not 500, that's for sure.
You can't fill them all with tridents, surely.
No.
It's a lot of satchels.
It's those boots.
Oh, yeah.
They stack. The boots stack.
It's ridiculous.
PodQE has a question whether we're going to add a filter option for the game messages tab. We've got a request in with our game engine team to get a new get a feature that will let us do that. Unfortunately, that's something they're going to have to help us with. If they give us the feature I want them to give us, we'll be able to make new chat types without involving them in future, and then we can have as many different kinds of chat filters, well, for future messages as you like, without having to wait for the engine team every time. So yeah, we've got that on the wish list, and hopefully we'll get what we need from them. Then we'll poll it. I'm pretty sure it'll pass, so let's not worry about that side. But yeah, it's something we want to do.
When is Bob the Apples is when is Sailing coming out? Confirmed
April 1st?
April 1st. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sailing
Confirmed date.
sorted.
Got an idea for that.
Yeah. This isn't a joke. I mean, people call us out on it all the time. Confirmed. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, we're really doing it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Can we add new non-Slayer monsters for medium or high level players? Question from Lortox. We could. We've got a lovely model for some lizard men.
Yes. A high level reward, not reward, high level Slayer monster.
No, no.
The biggest advocate for that is sitting right here, and he is more than happy to commit to testing it when we put it there.
In other news, I resign.
Yes.
That doesn't actually stop them going into game, does it?
No, don't really. You leave, we still do it. Sorted.
I'm happy for them to go into game, but not as the highest level Slayer monster. Come on.
No.
If we scale them up though, they'll look epic.
Yeah, and I can change it. Give them a whip instead.
All right, just completely remodel them, reanimate them, and
No,
give them.
that's part of the glory. That's 10 years. That content was promised 10
There's
years
a
ago.
reason they were never released.
Yeah, we got POH instead. I think we're.
They look terrible.
I think we owe them that.
They look terrible.
So,
Now, Stevie5646 is asking whether we can have penguins. It's not entirely clear whether they mean penguins that you hunt and get lots and lots of free XP and skills you can't be bothered to train manually. If that's what you're asking for, I think the answer might have to be no, or at least not with that much XP, because it was a little bit powerful. If you mean for hunting, they weren't a bad hunter feature. They weren't very high XP, but I kind of enjoyed them because they were simple and you could just go grind there for a while, and it didn't fill your inventory with anything that you didn't have to keep getting rid of in really annoying ways. So we don't have the graphics that we used for it before. It might be possible to reconstruct, not entirely sure. The graphics for box traps are surprisingly complicated, but there was other ways of catching a penguin up there. And on the subject of hunting things, we now Dan went and found in the archive of unused models the mammoth.
it looks awesome.
And yeah, he went and tweeted a mammoth. It looks amazing, like a big brown elephant with no texture. And
Terrible.
of all the things you can do with a mammoth, one of them would be, you know, trying to trap it in a pit, like That's the only thing I can think of to do with a mammoth.
Well, actually, John and Matt are having a discussion about how would you kill a mammoth. I think John googled it as though there were some professionals that were used to doing this, obviously. And I think luring it to fall off the side of a cliff was the most proficient way of killing a mammoth, according to experts.
Apparently.
So
That's still better than your idea, was just drop a boulder on them.
no, that wasn't my idea. I never came up with that idea at all.
What was it, Matt?
I said we could do it if you wanted to, but I never suggested we drop a mammoth. I think I said we could just have it fall into a pit. Like
Yeah, but it's
kayaks.
a mammoth.
Kayaks, yeah.
Cats.
But regardless, we do have a concept there. We could make it group hunter, because realistically you wouldn't hunt an entire mammoth by yourself.
Not really.
What would you do with the whole mammoth if you... Yeah.
Yeah, either way.
We could be here for a
Right.
while.
Mr. CVBGN says, are there any chance of restoring special attack when you die in Castle Wars? Now, I've been playing a lot of Castle Wars recently, and I've been playing a lot with the GBU and CWC guys, who all complained about this, and it seems to be a common concern they have, because everything else is restored except special attack.
Yes, I seem
think-
to recall when we did a poll question about that months and months and months ago, about restoring things when you die in Castle Wars. Mod Nexus left the special attack out deliberately in case we ever got a problem with it being overpowered. That said, since you can't run out the respawn room and use it and then die and respawn and run out again quite as quickly as you could in, say, the Clan Citadel battlefield, I think we could get away with it.
No, it's obviously, as one of the larger Castle Wars communities and one of the still loyal Castle Wars communities, it seems like a legitimate concern. So yeah, we can address something like that. I'm happy to go with it.
And while we're on that kind of subject, special attack recharging when you die, just normally dying, is something that gets asked about a lot as well. At the moment, I think it doesn't. On a PvP world where you might run out of your respawn point and go back into combat within about 5 walking tiles, that might be a little powerful, but we could find some way of making it recharge more quickly after you've died, so that you can't just run in, spec, die, but you don't have to wait the full 2.5 minutes or whatever every time, because that's quite a long time at the moment.
Mendez Melvin says, is Ivy coming back to 2007?
No.
No.
I really
I
don't want to do that.
I think if people are going to woodcut, they should woodcut for the supplies instead of sitting there aimlessly chopping ivy, getting nothing but seeds and a shit ton of XP. So we're going to avoid that.
And that would.
Yeah. So we're going to avoid that.
Well, we can give you ivy, so long as the caveat is you can't chop it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I can do that.
Nice graphics update. In fact, we could do it a bit like that Vine thing we were talking about for farming.
Oh,
I must have missed this discussion.
It's
vines.
something that John and I were talking about for a potential farming skill update, the ability to farm a vine and get grapes from it, because they're in demand. I don't think we've added them to guards drop tables at this point. So,
Would that come with a rewrite of farming?
do you want it to?
If he's QAing it.
Ha!
So
There's a whole load of things we could do. Because we could
Oh,
also
the
have
variables on farming are just not fun.
no, they're
if
not.
I rewrote farming and renamed some of the variables, which I could do, then we could also look at the growth cycles being so inconsistent.
Okay.
Yes.
If I'm doing that for you, can you delete mining for me?
Can I delete mining for him? Go on, say yes or no.
Yes. I will give you all max cash.
If you delete mining, we're deleting agility.
This is
Yeah, I'm good with
widely
that.
vote, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone just said Dragon Defender, but the message was deleted. I think it was Smitey's son, Smitey OS Santa, I think. It was deleted message, but I think I saw it in time. Yes, we can do a Dragon Defender. We'd like to give you a new model of it, at least, instead of just recoloring an existing Dragon Defender or existing Defender. Just having a red Defender doesn't seem good enough. So
Well, apparently we can make new models these days if today's update's anything to go by.
yeah, I made the Trident.
Yeah, he
Sorry.
made the Trident. It's amazing.
It is a great model.
And we've plugged in the casting animation that's taken from scarabs, scarab creatures. I painted their spell casting animation blue and plugged it into the new staff what he made. And the animation when you charge it, that's some lightning from the Gorax plane, recoloured and scaled up and positioned over your head just as you pick the staff up and wave it.
Which also looks awesome.
Where did you think to look for that?
I searched for lightning in the models folder, and
Oh, I
one of them
see.
came up from the Fairy Tale quest.
Fair enough.
I have seen a comment asking what the drop rate is of the tridents. We won't tell you the exact number, but it is slightly more common than a whip or a dark bow. We can be more generous because they're an assignment-only monster, so you can't sit there and camp all day.
for the moment, people are sitting there and camping quite a lot because they're burning through their Slayer reward points
That's
to
been
get
quite
as many
amusing.
Kraken tasks as they can. They're not going to be able to do that forever.
I saw someone say they spent over 2,000 and did not get the task. So,
Were they 87 Slayer?
well, I hope they were, because otherwise that was a complete waste of points.
Well, you guys were asking for more things to do with your Slayer points. Apparently we hit one.
Yeah, just burned through them.
It's not quite what I had in mind, but fine. So, Zed Rush ZZHD wants to know when the wilderness update is happening. We've now we know which bits passed, which bits didn't pass. The plan at the moment is to try and build it all as one big update and put it out as the most awesome update of epic awesomeness for the year, and putting it all together while looking at all the other things we've got to do, things that we have passed polls that we haven't delivered yet, and a few other things you guys keep asking for. I think it's going to be late March, possibly early April, but we're going to try and deliver it for you as quickly as possible. That's what I think it's likely to end up being. So that's a lot quicker than, say, Nightmare Zone. We can work faster now. We've got so many dev tools and a bit more staff support than we had before. I think that's roughly how long it'll take. Can't give you a confirmed date, of course, because when you're developing, you run into things. We can't foresee every single contingency we're going to run into in advance, but we hope to do that. In the meantime, what have we got?
Oh my god,
Curse
swords. Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. Curse prayers, ORS based.
Yep.
Yes, we can. We don't really have a way of introducing them. We don't have the quest, although I really did like that quest. You could argue things like Soul Split was very overpowered, because Soul Split was very overpowered. I loved Soul Split. I used Soul Split a lot when it came out.
It's too broken.
Thankfully, I was already 99 Slayer at that point, but
we're also not likely to be able to use the same graphics that the cursors had before. We can get the 2D ones just fine, but the in-game effects, we might have to recycle existing models or tweak existing models a bit. So if you're okay with just having the gameplay and not necessarily having the exact same animations, we should be good for cursors, if that's something you really want.
again, that is down to if you want it. I'm seeing a lot of people say no, but
Yeah.
it's not a thing. We're not just sitting back here going, yeah, we're going to go ahead for it. So
No, because for the next, few weeks, as I've just said, we're going to be writing Wilderness, and I don't really want to take on any big projects that are going to delay the Wilderness. So we might have to just hold off on any big stuff for quite a while yet.
Cheesy D.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah,
I was
I was
holding
just
back
about
on
to
it.
comment.
Yeah.
Cheesy D. 8 PM next Thursday.
So for those of you that didn't hear Matt, Cheesy D, who is one of the admins on 2007 Escape Reddit, just said AMA. Now this is something we get asked every week, and we always post it straight to Matt as our community manager. And Matt sits there, go, yeah, we'll do it, and then nothing ever happens. So I saw Cheesy D say it a minute ago, but I was kind of putting it off until Matt was sitting here. But Matt's just confirmed that next week, 8 PM Thursday, after this live stream next week, there will be an AMA on the 2007 Escape Reddit. So you're not on there, get an account on there, and we will do an AMA as the four of us. So that's confirmed. That's Matt confirming that one.
Yeah.
We're only 3 months late.
Yeah. Thanks, Cheesy.
So
Yes.
bank tabs and resting from many people.
Hmm.
In my test stream, Mash has actually got a very, very primitive version of bank tabs set up. They do kind of work.
I've written the most of the client-side bit that will display them in the different tabs. The next bit, and of course the important bit, is the server side that sorts the items into tabs and lets you move things between the tabs. That is going to be difficult. I've not got very far so far, but we know it's something you want, and it's something we're going to work on to try and give it to you. Resting, well, we've got a run button these days. We can let you right-click it. We've also got the engine support for making your run energy restore at different rates that we can control.
Yes.
So we could now undertake resting. We'd have to recycle an animation because we don't have the original sitting down anims. I've seen quite a few people suggesting that we take the dream spell animation and let you just lie down for a bit to recharge your run energy. Mind you, we could have a go at making another animation ourselves, but it's maybe a little beyond our capabilities. We're not sure.
I haven't tried animating anything yet. I think you've produced more animations than I
I
have.
made one animation.
And
It's
it was
the dragon has to shove animation, which I took by
Dragon
that.
Hasta confirmed.
Sorry, Zamrak has to. Oh, we could.
We could do a
I
Dragon
actually
Hasta.
posted on that thread suggesting we should have done the Dragon Hester at the same time for consistency.
Well,
You could argue so, yeah.
I got no problem with that.
No.
Yeah, the shove animation used to be like this. I made a version where your hand doesn't move on one side, and that's the only animation we've made so far for you guys.
I tried doing a leap of faith animation from the Assassin's Creed game for rooftop agility, but
I'd have totally used that for the end of some of the courses where you jump off a rooftop to finish.
apparently there would have been some logic issues in the way I'd done it. But
The render order is problematic for us. In this old school game that had to run on people's computers in Java in the browser in 2004, the game assumes that your head is rendered first over your body and over your legs and over your feet in that order. If you have an animation that turns you upside down, that looks very, very funny because suddenly you can see your head through your feet even though your feet are above your head, which you can get away with if you're going fast enough, but it's a bit dodgy in the end for that.
Sant Please says, Mod Reach, when is Livid Farm coming to 07? Absolutely never. End of. Next question.
Well, maybe some of the spells and things you get from it.
No.
The spells perhaps. Maybe. Maybe. Pauline, never. Pauline will come back. Yelps will come back before Pauline when I have my way. No Pauline.
Yelps confirmed.
No. Yeah, Yelps confirmed. No
I'm totally
Pauline.
doing that just to troll him.
There is no Livid Farm.
I didn't think it was that bad.
Oh.
It wasn't exactly fun, but
Oh.
you could do it.
We're moving on from this one.
Fair enough.
A player I think called PvP Worlds is asking about PvP weapons, Morrigans, etc. Will they ever come to Old School RuneScape? We may not have the exact graphics that those items used before, but we could make items that behave like that. We offered, in fact, last year, back in October when we were talking about PvP Worlds, we asked if you'd like to have those items dropped to players on PvP Worlds as an incentive to use them. And we also talked about brawlers. The overwhelming response from the forums at the time was no to brawlers, never, never, never do brawlers. Fine by me. And also they thought the items would be a bit overpowered, which is fair play. In those days, when we didn't even have the God Wars dungeon in the game, these items would have been well above the power of any item you'd already got. Now that the game's got more stuff in it, could be you'd feel differently about them. We'd be happy to think again about it. Again, we're not looking to do anything big alongside the wilderness work, because there's already quite enough of that queued up. But if you want to see those items dropped on PvP Worlds, or something similar, or even something completely different, we'd be happy to hear from you. The one thing we want to avoid like the plague is statuettes, and the other thing we want to avoid like the plague is the old EP system, where you went and sat in a nice quiet place, maybe splashing spells against a friend, earning, for want of a better word, the right to come home loaded with loot for having taken no real risk. We don't want to do that.
Better known as 76k trick.
Yeah, that trick. We won't be able to make a system that can never be abused, but we could probably make one that's a bit less open to abuse than that used to be. Nevertheless, there's a lot of feeling that any system we introduce that tries to track your prowess as a PvPer is going to be more open to gaming, and it will not be tracking true PvP activities. So you might have to live with that if you wanted those items to come from PvP Worlds. Another thing people ask for occasionally is Revenants, presumably dropping these items. In my view, that's boring. There's a lot of monsters dropping a lot of armour and weapons. I'd rather go with something different if we can. But we could if you really, really wanted it like that.
Someone just said construction update. I didn't actually catch your name because the chat was cleared. I'm cool for construction update. I think one of the Ninja team actually had a really cool idea come to them, and I liked it a lot, so I thought we'd actually try and put it in our game as well. The ability to store money in your butler, so he doesn't ask you, for his wages, effectively, or he could take it straight from your room, and you never actually get to see that interface unless you didn't have that money in there, or he ran out of what you stored in him. I quite like that. I think John said he finished 99 construction recently, and it would have been helpful.
Mm-hmm. We've got a few other things on the wish list as well.
Make the butler turn up next to you.
Yeah, instead of
4 rooms away.
20 tiles away, getting stuck behind every damn wall between you and him.
Yeah, what's with that? You must know where you are to get into the house at all.
Another one I think was taking out random events and building mode, but I think until we can address
At least the
random
teleporting
events,
random events.
the teleporting random events, I guess, yeah. But,
Yes. PK Bavin has a question about making the Clan Cup arena available all year round when there's no cup running. We held off on that because, well, there's not a huge number of people in the wilderness. In fact, we've got the wilderness rejuvenation to get more people into the wilderness. Giving you a safe PvP arena didn't seem like it would contribute to that. Nevertheless, it's something we could do, but I think more usefully, we'd like to write Clan Wars. It's a very common request. We're getting to the point with the engine team where we could actually, I think, undertake it. Don't know for sure. I'd have to, well, try first and see whether I get stuck on something. But I think we're pretty much able to go there. Not yet, but in the foreseeable. And we know you guys want Clan Wars, especially the pures among you. The question of whether it would pass a poll is, well, it's not entirely certain, since there's a lot of people don't want safe PvP arenas so as to not devalue the wilderness, but it's well worth polling. And if we did it, we'd offer the free-for-all arenas separately, in a separate question, so you could get one without having to get the other necessarily, since I know those are a bit more controversial. Also, I don't think there's a point in having a dangerous free-for-all arena. I know it is a little different to the wilderness, but frankly, you've got a wilderness, you've got PvP worlds. Hopefully we can find some way on those of covering what you need. Questy Cape says buy a bigger couch.
Yeah.
We'd love to.
I'm trying to catch up with all that's going on in this chat right now.
Eero says the Ferret of Doom for level 99 Slayer monster.
I'm cool with that.
I think we need level 120 Slayer for that one.
Yeah, you would. It's level 9001. So.
That's a lot of wild pies.
Dragon Claws. Oh, so someone said Karasi as well. I'm going to shoot those both down right now.
Yeah,
if we were to do Dragon Claws, they would be a heavily nerfed version of the original. They wouldn't be the one item rush. I'm going to do as much damage as an AGS with no buffs, no boosts, and no items. They wouldn't be like that at all. I don't think anybody else. I don't think any serious PK is wanting that either. So no.
The Mage 173 says Dungeoneering. Now we do like minigames.
Skills.
Minigames.
Skills.
Minigames.
Skills.
Minigames.
Skills.
And we would be very happy to give you some kind of minigame.
Skill.
Where you go into some kind of randomly generated dungeon, perhaps, and with a team, of course. We may be able to give you something that's not tied to 5 people. Again, the features that we're getting from the game engine team that would let us write Clan Wars, we can use those to write some kind of, dungeoneering minigame that works with maybe bigger teams and could be quite a lot of fun. They've also done some stuff with NPC's memory allocation, which gives us a lot more flexibility for storing data during the course of your minigame session. And we might be able to use that to make you something quite nice. It'd be a huge project, of course. After all, Dungeoneering was a colossal minigame with so many other skills tied into it that that if we started writing one of those, it would be we'd be at it for quite a long time. And of course, we got the wilderness to worry about just at the moment, and I do not want anything to delay that if I can help it. But yeah, we've got the idea.
Miss Tokar says, talk about Prifidinus, please. I'd love to talk about Prifidinus. I'd love to open Prifidinus. In fact, recently I tweeted that I'd take some people to Prifidinus, and I did. I'm more than happy to take anybody to Prifidinus. There's nothing there except in my test server. There's some lizard men that John here is very supportive of, and mammoths, which are pretty awesome. We'd love to do something with Prifidinus. We'd like a quest that to open it. We'd like to just basically give it a whole new lease of life. Something that you've been wanting for years. I've been wanting for years. Problem is, a crystal city we don't really have the assets to do. I don't really have it within my very amateurish modelling capabilities of making a crystal city. So we don't really have any content to tie to it, but I would love to do something with Prifidinus and Menaphos for that matter as well. That's been locked out for a long time, and I think John's very keen on doing something with Menaphos. It's
Put lizard men in there.
We could put lizard men in there. They would make more sense to be in there.
A lot more sense, yeah. And that would explain why the Scarabites don't like them or something.
Yeah. So there's 2 cities we're wanting to open. So
Menaphos has a slight advantage because we've already got kind of desert-style architecture models, whereas we do not have models of a crystal city, and nor does RS3. So we could do Menaphos a lot more easily.
Yeah.
There was a question relating to keeping your first skill cape untrimmed. I can't remember who asked it, sorry. But the fact of the matter is the game doesn't remember what your first 99 was, so unless you want to be able to untrim any skill cape, which we don't think would be popular it's not something we can offer.
Yeah.
I did toy around with some script today which would allow you to untrim any of your currently trimmed skill capes. However, again, if you have earned 99 Slayer untrimmed and you've spent months grinding it out, planning what you need to be doing, and then somebody who has 99 Slayer just simply untrims it because they want to see what it looks like, all that work you put in really has gone to waste, because it allow anybody to just walk around and anybody to claim they've done that when they might not have done so. It's really easy to do, but again, for those people who have put the effort in of getting untrimmed HP, untrimmed prayer, untrimmed Slayer, untrimmed farming even, so anybody who has got a currently trimmed skill cape could just untrim it and then claim the victory that you've worked so hard to achieve. And we know a lot of people in Old School, ourselves included, like to be able to hold on to what they've achieved and not have other people just cheat their way towards it. So probably not something which would be viable.
Now, Mr. Hugbear has a question about the mouse wheel update. That is presumably the one where you can use the middle mouse button or mouse wheel to click and drag and make the camera rotate like that, rather than needing to use the arrow keys. Now, when we polled that before, it didn't pass. However, at the time, there was a lot of people posting on the forums saying they voted no because they want to be able to keep using the arrow keys and they don't want to have it taken away from them because they don't have a middle mouse button on their mouse. We weren't going to stop the arrow keys working. This was going to be an alternative method of rotating the camera. So, firstly, there was a few misunderstandings over that. Secondly, there was some people saying they'd like to be able to toggle it on and off. I don't fully understand why you'd ever want to toggle it off. Maybe you like clicking with your middle mouse button, because that used to work as a left click. But yes, if we change the question to firstly make it clear what we're offering so that you guys are answering the right question, and secondly, if we offered it with a toggle, it might well be popular enough to pass with those changes. So we are willing to re-poll that, and I think we'll put in the next one.
Yeah.
Cool.
Quick Timing was asking for a player-side console to see FPS and memory usage. We do have those on test servers.
In fact, we can have it live as JMods. We can get the FPS. I don't remember whether it does memory usage.
I think it does actually, yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, if the game engine team would take out the JMod restriction, then you guys would have what we've got. Ours is on by default. We could probably get them to make it off by default. Of course, it's an engine request, so we can't guarantee they'll drop everything and do it straight away. It might end up in the fairly long queue of things we've asked for to deliver some of your more adventurous requests.
But come June, we can probably offer it.
We'd like to.
Jedi says, broadcast system when? Actually, today we got that, and I've already spammed every player online twice.
Query, are we talking about the loot broadcast that we're launching next week, or the system
actually,
broadcast?
in which case, we have two broadcast systems then. The broadcast system that I used earlier today, and I think the broadcast system for Dag Kings and KQ, I believe it was.
Yeah, Dagoth Kings, Chaos Elemental, King Black Dragon, and what's the other one? Calfight Queen.
Okay. Yes.
But that should be ready for next week. Its testing's going well.
We've got most of the work done. We've also got most of the work done for the run energy, or becoming a clickable run button. But we'll be hopefully launching that alongside quick prayers next week if we can get those done in time. That's my next job, quick prayers. I was hoping that wouldn't pass, I might mention, but hey, you guys voted.
Right, Matt wants to come over and talk to you, so I'm going away now. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Meanwhile, PK Babin is saying, could we have some more fairy ring locations and the memory feature that Ash dev'd? If by memory feature you mean the thing that lists all the codes that you've unlocked so that you can just click them, I already did that for Old School, so you should already have that. We could add more fairy ring locations if you guys would like to specify where you had in mind. Otherwise you'll end up with fairy rings going to places that I think are funny, which might not be quite what you like. In the meantime, here's Matt.
Hello. So two questions that you've raised that you probably want me to answer are the Raggers and Nightmare Zone. Which one do you want me to do first? I also have a list of all the questions that you've tweeted me and posted on Facebook and put in the forums, which I will put to these guys once we've resolved those two questions. Just waiting for the stream to catch up so I can see what you want me to answer first.
I think someone's put slow down mode on, so it's taking quite a few to trickle through.
So what do you reckon? You think it's going to be night? I reckon it'll be Nightmare Zone.
Probably going to be Nightmare Zone.
Yeah.
NMZ, Raggers.
Raggers. Oh, wow.
NMZ. No, well, actually,
Ooh,
no.
Raggers. No, it's like Raggers, isn't it?
I think Raggers has won this one.
Okay.
Okie dokie. So Raggers. For those of you who don't know what a ragger is, it is somebody who It's somebody who deliberately tries to interrupt someone else's PvP experience. What we did a few weeks ago is we put up just for Christmas, wasn't it? We put up a sticky which said, "Tell us about ragging, tell us your experiences with it, tell us what you think we should do about it." What came to us from that, or what came out of that thread, was that everybody's idea of what a ragger is was incredibly different. Now, there were some calls to make ragging against the rules and for us to go out and ban the raggers. That's not going to happen, mainly because, one, there is a complete disparity on what a ragger is. Nobody has the same idea as anybody else. Secondly, getting the evidence for somebody who is ragging is going to be incredibly difficult. If, for example, someone is ragging you for 4, 5, 6 hours a day for 3 or 4 weeks at a time, we're going to need to see videos of all that, and actually getting enough evidence to take action against these people is going to be almost impossible. So what we think the best solution is to sort of look at how we can update content to stop it from happening. Now, the first updates went in, I haven't gone in yet, it's just been polled in the Wilderness updates. We've got 2 anti-ragging updates in there, which is stopping the spam from the rock cake, that's it, yeah, rock cake, so it doesn't have all that chat above it. Also, if you die with the crystal bow, you will then lose the crystal bow. It turns into a seed, doesn't it, which goes to the other person. Now, what we do want to do as well, but this is something which is not going to be a straightforward thing to do, is always have your health above everybody else's health, your opponent's health above everybody else's health. That's if it's possible to do. That's going to need a lot of engine work, that, doesn't it?
Yes, the engine currently has no idea about who your opponent is. All it knows is that there's some guy there taking damage, some other guy there taking damage, and it would have to understand the idea that one of them is your foe rather than anyone else's, so that it could treat them differently.
Yeah.
They do have something like this in other RuneScape RS3, but that's a lot of engine features that were not added until a long time after 07.
Yeah, so I mean we are on the ragging and on the ragging. Yeah, that's a fortunate phrase. So we are aware of it. We are looking at it. I mean, I've been speaking to Sun recently as well, who you all know, and I'm sure a lot of you came from his stream. Sent him an email sort of explaining exactly what we're doing and what we think the solutions are. If you guys have got any ideas, you can filter them through him. I'm sure he won't mind passing them on, or you can send them straight to us through the forums. But ideas on bits of content we can change to make it more difficult for raggers to do what they do, or rather, let's not make it more difficult for them, but make it more fun for you to PvP. This is the right way of looking at it, I think. But do send them to us, and we will happily look at those. That's not a problem.
One of the things that's come out of today's update is that if we enabled the new trident in PvP in the Wilderness or PvP worlds, that's another item a bit like the crystal bow, where you equip it and you're firing, and if you keep it on death, then you may not be risking anything unless you're on a high-risk world.
Yeah.
So got a rather nice idea from a player, I think called Saxo, on the forums today, suggesting that the staff would only work in PvP if you've got 300 or more charges on it, and it would automatically lose its charges as runes on death to anyone who kills you, so that you're risking at least that many runes by dying with the staff. It's an interesting idea. We could take more ideas. Certainly we are aware that trident is likely to become a ragging problem if we launch it in its existing state into PvP.
Now, someone just asked any punishment for ragging, which we said no, but that does actually raise quite an interesting thing. Some of the raggers are very horrible, vocal. I should have started this somewhat differently. Can be very unguarded in what they say. We do have rules in the game which says you've at least got to be pleasantish to each other. You can't be super nasty. So what we have been doing is we've been monitoring this, because some of the things that we've seen are, if we would say it out loud, everybody would be offended. So we've been using those rules, we've been enforcing those rules, because it's driving people away from PvP, and that's not a good thing. And if it's against our rules, then obviously we can't let that happen. So we will continue to do that, as we will any other game. But it seems that it's very focused on the PvP element, where I think people are getting a bit too excited. They're saying the worst thing they can possibly think of, and that worst thing is bad for everybody. We're not going to let it happen. So that's where there might be some confusion going on. We do have chat logs of everything that everybody says, so we can see what you said 3 years ago on a Tuesday and what you had for breakfast. You know, so we got everything there. So there's no problem for us finding these things out. So kill each other, just don't be too horrible about it. Yeah. Nightmare Zone. Okay, that's the other big one we've got to talk about. Nightmare Zone. So we put a thread up last week and we said, tell us about your XP rates for Nightmare Zone. We've got loads of XP rates coming. We had about 300 responses, which is fantastic. We put that all into a spreadsheet and looked at the XP rates. Now, what we found out from what you guys have told us is the XP rates are quite comparable with what you can get in other areas of the game. So we're sort of looking at it thinking, well, the XP rates aren't necessarily the problem. But one thing which was glaringly a problem was the cost of magic. You can go into Nightmare Zone and get 170,000 XP an hour. It will cost you nothing. You can go to the monkeys, you can get 160 XP, 160,000 XP an hour. It will cost you 150,000 GP. That's a problem, and that's the one we obviously want to solve. So we are going to be polling a question. So remember, if I get it the right way round now, we are going to be, if you want to continue getting that 170,000 XP an hour, you can take your own runes in there and you can go and get that same amount of XP. And that's going to cost you the amount of runes you take in, obviously. What will happen if you don't take your runes in there is you won't get any XP for casting magic using the runes that are inside Nightmare Zone. And that should balance it out with every other sort of magic gaining area in game. And that's a question that we will poll to you and you can have a say on. The other thing that was raised from that thread was AFKing. A lot of you felt that wasn't right, it wasn't fair. Now, we do have a mechanic in game where every 6 hours you're supposed to be logged out of game. It doesn't work if you're in combat, which it's supposed to, so we're going to change that. We're not going to poll that question because that is something that's supposed to happen, so we're going to do that. What we're also going to do is we're going to poll another question, which, again, I've got to get this the right way around now, which if you don't interact with a client in 5 minutes, you'll get logged out of the game. That's what happened. An update happened in 2008, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah.
2008, that update happened to RuneScape. We want to put in the same thing because that will stop any sort of AFKing going forward. Whether in combat or not, it will still log you out of game, and that should hopefully make the game much more engaging and keep you guys in that.
Not much changes with that functionality. Before, obviously, you could, at the moment you could sit there and you can go to bed and you can wake up in the morning and you're still logged in, still playing Nightmare Zone or whatnot. But some people like to spin the arrow keys and stay logged in, which is fine, but that's not interacting with the game, which is why it was changed. Interacting with the game is clicking on the window, clicking items, changing tabs, chatting to somebody, interacting with the actual game client. So not much comes with that change. You're still logged in. You'll still log out after 5 minutes like you would anyway. It just requires you to actually interact with the client and for the client to see your inactivity timeout.
Yeah. Cool. There's one other aspect we wanted to do as well. We thought we'd poll this to you so you guys can have a say on it as well. One of the things we did with the points in Nightmare Zone is you get more points depending on how many quests you've completed. And we thought what's fair within Nightmare Zone, the original design, is that if you've got more quests, it should be more beneficial for you. That's the whole design of it. So what we wanted to do was if you've got every single quest boss unlocked, you will get 100% of the XP rate that you currently get now. So, for example, if you were to use one of the boosting accounts, you would start off, you've only got the 5 quests completed, you would get about 30% of the XP as well, or you get 30% of the XP. That would basically mean you can still use the boosting accounts and grind away merrily without thinking too hard about it, but you're going to be on a lower XP rate. But again, that's a question we'll poll to you and we'll get your thoughts on that. So it's up to you, that is. That is Nightmare Zone. I think I've blustered my way through that a bit. Yeah. But
you covered it all.
But I think that's covered it all. But if you have any questions, there's going to be a dev blog that comes out as soon as we're finished here. We're going to put it up, and your feedback, again, talk to us about it. Let us know what you think. We're always interested in hearing what you have to say about that. And job's a good one.
Okay.
Lots of no's. Yes, no,
yes, no, yes, no. ZMI Alter from Vampire. The answer to ZMI Alter is we could. However, they're just, of all the things we could be doing, it's never felt like the thing that we should be doing next ahead of everything else. So if we thought everyone wanted the ZMI Alter, we could dig it out of the archive, integrate it into Old School RuneScape, and give it to you as a skilling update. However, of all the other things we could be doing, we're going to be focusing on the wilderness for quite a while, and after that, we'll see what the top priority seems to be. I'm not sure it's going to be ZMI Alta though.
Cool. Should we go through some of these questions from the Twitterers?
Yes, go for it.
Sure.
Right, okay, well, some of these might have been answered. It's a bit dark
That's
over
cool.
outside the room, so I can cross them off. Okay, so at the Collins 892 says, Reach mentioned on forums yesterday about possibilities for logging into RS3 and ORS one
I
time.
see. This actually came up from one of the RS3 guys who was keen to play RS3 and Old School at the same time. He asked me about it, if I knew anything about it, so I investigated a little bit. The problem is your account has one profile, and obviously when you log into any game, any website, that profile has to be authenticated by a server. Because you only have one profile, once you're authenticated, you're in. Because you have one profile for both Old School and RS3, when you log into one, when you try to log into the other one, you can't, because that profile is already logged in, it's already been authenticated. I was asking if it was possible to split the profiles so they can still be in sync, still be in sync, but still log into RS3 and Old School at the same time. Now, apparently this is a massive job, naturally, and it is naturally, again, something for the engine team. They didn't say it was impossible, they just said it would be a huge job. But because of the size of the job and because of what it can, or because of what you get out of it, I think there's a lot more important things we can get from the engine team, such as if we were to do clan wars or grand exchange or anything like that. So I'll continue investigating and I'll see what they say. But I'd like to be able to log into RS3 and Old School at the same time on the same account, because it will save you having to, create a purist all over again and all that stuff. But I'll have a look.
Cool. Tobias Patterson asks, any update on the second Slayer monster? P.S. Great job on the Kraken.
Thanks.
We haven't really got
We haven't started on that yet.
lizard men.
Well, we've got the model for lizard men. We could use them. We've also got the model for mammoths. We could use them for that. Although slaying mammoths feels almost cruel. But yeah, we know we've got to come up with something, and we are open to ideas from you guys as well. We're not quite at the stage of graphics production where we could make an entirely new monster out of nothing and animate it, but we've got quite a few unused models. So yeah, by all means, send us your ideas about how you'd like the thing to behave and what kind of creature you think it might be, and we'll see what we can do for you.
Cool. So Bandutelli, he asks, since Revenants didn't... Oh, we've answered this one. Yeah, okay. Don't need to answer that one. I remember you've answered that one. Here's an interesting one. CT number 9. He says, will bonds be available to buy in OSRS or for OSRS GP2? Now, I'm hearing more and more about bonds as time goes by. So I'm wondering, is there really a desire to have bonds in game? And probably more importantly is, why do you want the bonds in game? Because we're hearing more about it. So it's worth sort of looking at what you guys want.
I would say for me, obviously bonds allow people to buy membership in RS3 and then come to Old School because they obviously have a membership. I think a legitimate system of transferring cash between Old School and RS3 would be a lot better for us than bonds. I think people see bonds as a means of microtransactions, and that's what they don't want in Old School. But I'm seeing a lot of people say no. But this is going against the microtransaction side of things. You don't have to spend real money on bonds at all. This is you spending your Old School GP on being able to have membership.
Yeah. And Chris said exactly the same thing there. Chris X431. It is about getting your membership. He wants bonds to buy membership with, and I know that there's a lot of people who have been using their RS3 wealth to buy bonds to play Old School, and eventually you're going to run out of that money. And some people will have run out of that money, and they're no longer buying bonds, whether they're playing or paying in a different method. I don't know, but if there was a way to spend the time that you spend in game in Old School, using that to buy bonds to get membership, I see that as something that's good, really.
If it's
for
what
you
you
guys,
want.
This is to point out, buying bonds in RS3 means you can also convert them for spins and rune coins. This is not an introduction of things like the Squeal of Fortune or Solomon's Store. This was the bond. If we were to pursue the idea of bonds, it would be exclusively you spend your Old School GP on membership, nothing more.
I tell you what, Yelps, okay.
Yeah.
Yelps, you know that new monster we want to put in the wilderness, sort of down the bottom, the training one? I've got little mini Yelpses they could wail on all day long.
That could be fun. And they can throw spinning wheels. That's their special attack or something. And we can probably get hold of a ghastly noise for them as well.
Yes, yeah, I'm sure we
Have
probably
you had a
could.
go at making music recently?
Well, I've added some music to the game, although for sound effects we can just take Fiara's attack sound, which is horrible, and
I don't play with sound on, so...
if you're going near Fiara, you don't want to. When you were doing your God Wars pets all that time ago, I put the Fiara animations on that, and they came with sound effects automatically built in. It was horrible, just horrible. Having something so small making that noise.
So, Dan to the K says, would it be possible to change teleport jewellery to list the teleports like in RS3 instead of operate function as it has now?
We'd have to convert the worn items menu to a different file format, but I believe we have all the engine features we need to do that. Take a little while, but we could do it.
I'd like that.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Alex Campion asks, is there a system to move trade to Falador on World 2? Because I think it's underused.
I would love to have trade back in Falador World 2.
It's really up to you guys where you trade. We're not going to block all trade in Varrock on World 2 just so that you'll go somewhere else.
I could force everybody in that area to follow me, walk to that area, they won't be able to break out of it, and then force them all to Hot World and see what happens.
Craft a server.
I'll probably end up breaking something, but I could do it.
Chief Joe Boo. Again, it's a question that's been echoed on the stream a few times. Can you give us a hint of what this new anti-bot technology that's coming is like? We can't. We need to test it to make sure it works. But when we know it works and we know what's happening and it's all beginning to kick off, we will talk a lot more about it, and you will be fully informed of what's going on as much as we can. But you will know what's going on, so that'll be cool.
We had a go at trying some of it last week, and it was doing some stuff that it wasn't meant to. So we've sent it back for a little more polishing.
So yeah, we're all on it, and desperate to talk about it to you because it is quite exciting. But hold fire, we will get to you on that. The little mower. We've answered that one as well. Netstorm UK says, will catching crab be faster than sharks? Also, is there any chance crabs could be used in a new pie to give a bonus in a skill? Now that relates to the wilderness.
I like that idea.
Yeah, it is.
I had a player called Neilk ask me today actually if we could make summer pies boost your Slayer level, so you could actually get a Slayer task or a Slayer task at another level, because it would give people an incentive to cook wild pies, I guess, which people aren't really doing right now.
It would be interesting. Once you've got the assignment, you jolly well have to keep boosting until you've finished it. Otherwise, you get stuck.
That's true. Yeah, I think people who are desperate to do that. I like that idea though. Crab pie.
Crab pie. Crab sticks.
Crab sticks. Oh, well, we could do
That
that.
sounds like that
horrific.
thing from that pirate bit of Recipe for Disaster.
Yes, the first introduction of my children to fish was crab sticks when we were going around Tesco's once. And
They're
the
horrible.
person behind the thing gave them crab sticks to try. Because we always go to, it's completely aside, nothing to do with the game, but we always go to Tesco's, and when my kids were younger, we always used to go stand next to the fish aisle and go, the fresh fish, and go, yeah! Because they all look quite horrible. And
As you do.
as you do, yeah. But of course, they'd come over and say, oh, do you want to buy something? No, we're just looking at how horrible they all look. And so they gave them crab sticks once.
Go back to what
and,
you're
the
doing when you're
kids,
talking about crab sticks.
kids have not touched fish since. So,
Okay.
hi kids, if you're watching. Right,
I like
yeah.
that idea actually.
Yeah.
That
Software update says crab sticks are vile.
Yes.
I agree. I do like that idea though.
Okay, Elidon Fire says, is there any chance of Berthorpe's Gaming Room having a comeback? Well, again, the question for that is, what do you guys want in it? We'll do
That
the
we can
changes.
write.
Yeah, that we
Because
can
one
write,
thing
yeah.
we can't do is chess.
Yes.
It was looked into back in 04, 05, 06, and the developers at the time were pretty sure they could never do chess. One thing we could do, though, is create a board game on a blank slate board with a selection of pieces where you guys just play to whatever rules suit you, taking it in turns to make moves.
Yeah.
And then you can play chess by the rules yourselves if you want to. If you find yourself playing against somebody who doesn't want to play by the rules, then just don't talk to them again. These would be unranked. You'd just be left with a board game, some pieces, and left to make your own entertainment. So if you want to play chess in RuneScape, you could. If you want to play some other game with those pieces, then you could. We could do that.
Yeah, that's quite
That's
cool.
gonna be the most popular update of the year. That is.
I think so. Chess.
Chess.
I do like game
In
chess.
old school.
I
Yeah.
can't take credit for that idea myself. Some other JMod from the RS3 team was talking about it years ago. We just never did it.
Wonder why.
Yeah. Okay. So Spring God RS says, do you think 07 will run forever?
Yes.
There we go. John
There you
says
go.
yes.
The
We ain't going
positivity,
anywhere.
the positivity over there.
Yeah, so it'll run forever. When the world ends, they will still be able to play 07.
Yep.
The
And
sun's
if you
expanded.
can't, come and complain to us.
Yes, yeah. Okay, what else we got here? Irk Sands, he says, how far away is the achievement diary poll?
Quite far away, I imagine.
Get it in the next 6 months, do you reckon?
I reckon.
Yeah.
If we
yeah.
if we didn't do some other things.
Yeah, I mean, we've easily get another skilling poll in. We've got the next one, which will be a skilling poll, which answers one of these other questions coming up. And we'll do another one later on. So yeah, I think sort of,
I'd like to do an achievement diary.
before June, hopefully, fingers crossed, assuming nothing else more important comes up or you guys change your mind on what you want. But a lot of people want achievement diaries, and we want to do them.
Suggestions about what rewards could be added to it as well. We'd be happy to have more suggestions because we don't have to do exactly the same rewards as you had before. I imagine you want your battle staffs from Zaf, but there might be some things you'd like done differently for the other diaries.
An outfit that matches for them all.
Just to sidetrack very, very quickly, Bamu7 says you should have lizard men riding mammoths. When I found lizard men, I also found panthers. And I made lizard men ride panthers. There's panthers in the archive for some reason. And at the same time as I imported panthers, I got lizard men in. So I put the lizard men on top of the panther. So we have panther riding lizard men. So yeah, it is there. I have jumped the gun a little bit.
Yes, yeah. Okay, so what else we got here? Dan Newman on Facebook says, what is the next update after the Wildy? A new boss, please. Well, you're getting 6 new bosses with the Wildy update, so it's a bit greedy, really, and 2 new bosses still to come with the Slayer stuff. So
yeah, we're doing okay for bosses.
Yeah, with plenty of bosses. Next, I assume we've said this before, it's all be very skilling related, the next poll. Exactly what's in it is still up for debate, but we're focusing on as much skilling stuff.
Things that we can deliver in a quick turnaround time without delaying the wilderness update, since that's something that has been promised and we want to deliver it.
There we go. And that is everything from what you guys have sent me. I picked up in time, has been answered.
Cool.
Well done.
Cool. Where are we at?
Kabusha says, please don't give the diaries the same XP rewards as they have in RS3. Well, okay.
Yeah.
AVSTXN wants to know if brawlers are ever coming back. Given that whenever they've been talked about, there's a flood of people on the forums shouting no brawlers, no brawlers, no brawlers, I get the impression that they wouldn't pass a poll, so seems unlikely.
All right. 03 Doofeg, I think his name was, said we've got to take out, remove EOC, so we'll remove EOC from Old School. That cool, you? Yeah.
I'll
Cool.
do it when I
In
get
fact,
back.
we might have done it already.
Oh, yeah, well done.
Done. Right.
And Bungorth wants us to update the fishing trawler. Now, Matt's had quite a few ideas about the fishing trawler.
I've got to remember them now. Oh, man. Okay, so what we were going to do, we were going to...
Make it give manta rays
yes, make it give,
based on your fishing level.
That's right, yeah. So the higher the fishing level are, the more manta rays you'd get. You wouldn't actually get any other sort of fish. It would just be delivered in a certain amount of manta rays. What else was there? There's a few bits and bobs, wasn't there? I can't remember. I slept since then. Oh,
that was the main one.
Yeah, I think that was it. It was making the rewards a bit better.
It would give an amount of fishing XP that was at least comparable to something you could reasonably have done fishing,
Yes.
rather than being a bit of an insult.
Yes, absolutely.
And some fish, which you might have got while fishing,
Yes.
rather than being a bit of an insult.
Somebody next to it to cook it as well.
Oh yes,
that was it, yeah,
the manta
whatever.
ray chef.
Yes, the manta ray chef.
Yes.
You'd pay to cook your manta rays for you.
Mm.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, it was an idea. We thought about putting it in the minigame poll, number 14, I think it was.
Mm.
However, there was quite a lot of other stuff in that poll, so in the end that one got dropped out.
Yeah.
But we've still got the idea, we can refine it.
Live E2 says, are you planning on doing another PDC poll? The rooftop agility was a huge success. We are actually planning to do another PDC poll. We still got a lot of awesome suggestions from the last one that are still lying about. And I know we can't implement all of them, and you'd obviously have to vote on the ones you like. But some of them offered such awesome ideas. We could actually offer them as quality of life updates without having to, we're obviously polling them first, without having to do a whole, song and dance about it being a, one giant update. So I think
We are doing another one. The next PDC we've got slated for 22nd-ish of February, so it will tie in with our first birthday. It'll be a lot more focused this time. I think last one we had 150 suggestions come in, and really great ones. But I think what we'll try and do this time is make it a bit more focused. So it'll be player designed content, and we'll give you a theme, and you can send in your ideas on that theme, and we will make something from that. But yeah, around the sort of middle to end of February, you will hear more about that, which is cool because they were fantastically good fun.
Chris9368 wants us to make rune crafting pouches drop on the ground on death. Yeah, we're up for that. I know John's very keen.
John's
He's
nodding away over there. He's got a really beaming smile. So now he's cheering. There you go.
Yeah. Okay, it's now like 3 minutes past 6.
Is it? Wow.
Wow, we've
blimey.
actually have a shot.
Yeah, that doesn't have to
Well,
go
we
to-
start at 3 minutes past 5.
How
so
do you
it's
see
probably
that?
good.
I can't see that.
I've got this clock thing here.
Have you? Oh, okay. Fair enough. I was going to say, that's really good eyesight.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks everybody for coming. I hope we've answered your questions. Watch out for the dev blog, which will be going live in the next 10 minutes or so. Be cool, and we'll see you all next week. Have fun. Bye-bye.
Bye.